Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Automotive JT. Couple of things. First of all, subscribe if you haven't before. Click that subscribe button down there. Brand new Tundra. It's a 2024. Digging it. We're in it right now. I'm going to go over some things that I'm not going to do to this truck. Some things that maybe I've done in the past. Folks have been asking because I've had, I don't know, 3 other Tundras, something like that. So we're going to get to that here in just a minute. But as I'm driving around here, I pull up to a stop sign, right? I'm behind a Jeep, and they stop at the stop sign, and they don't move. They're just sitting there. You know, people, do what you got to do before you start rolling, before you leave the house. So I back up because I'm just going to go around them. It's not a big deal. I could have laid on the horn. I probably should have. But they must have noticed me. So they start to go and they wave, you know, like sorry, which is cool. It's not a big deal. But come on, man. And then, too, there's a guy walking down the road and he sees me sitting there waiting, right? And he sees me back up a little. So once we turn and I go past the guy, he goes, you know, just kind of funny, right? So anyway, the things that I'm not going to do to this truck. Folks have been asking me, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Are you going to change the channel name? You know, because it's Automotive JT, and in the past I've called it Cheap Trucks. Well, I don't think I am going to change it because now it's Just Trucks, right? JT, Just Trucks. I think it fits and I like the name. So for now, we're going to leave it alone. If you have a great suggestion, leave it below. You know, I'm always open. But let's get to the things I'm not going to do. There's really 6 things that I can think of that I've done in the past. Number 1, take the side steps off. You know, I have done that in the past, and I think it gives the truck a taller look. And if I went with maybe a taller tire, which we'll get to in a minute, that might help to kind of stretch the truck up a little bit. But at this point, the wife uses them, my mother uses them, so they're good to have on the truck for them to be able to step up and down. Honestly, they're a tad too narrow. They should be a little bit wider. The other day, I had sprayed some bird presents off of my windshield, and my wife went to get in, and she slipped off of the step, almost fell out of the truck. Probably because they're not wide enough. I'm not going to claim that me spraying water on them had anything to do with it. I'll never admit that. But they're going to stay for now. They are the Predator side steps, by the way. They're the ones that come from distribution, Toyota, in other words. They're the ones that, or one of the ones that Toyota puts on. Next up, new wheels. You know, it's got black painted wheels on it. They have the TRD center cap, even though this isn't a TRD. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's what Toyota put on. And I do like those black wheels. You know, I'm not a big fan of chrome, so part of the attraction to me, I guess, to this truck, I could have picked 2 or 3 different ones, different colors and setups, were the black wheels. So I'm planning on leaving those. Now, I would like to get a little bit more of a negative offset out of them, which the only way to do that would be to put wheel spacers on. Maybe 1.25 inches or so, something like that. I may do that down the road. We're going to run stock for a while. My biggest hesitation in putting wheel spacers on is I think you have to do something as far as grinding or cutting at the wheel or the studs that are there. I'm not really looking to do that. So for now, we're just going to ride the way that it is. The only caveat to that I have, I've mentioned this in a previous video, is potentially lifting the truck. If I lift the truck, maybe when I lift the truck, I am going to have to go with probably some sort of a different wheel. Maybe not. Maybe keep the same wheel, just put bigger tires on it. Of course, I'd have more of a donut look, but that's not a big deal. I really don't mind that. Next up, the TSS badging on the back of the bed there. Typically, I remove all of the badging. I'm not a big badging fan, even though people ding me negatively and state, well, you take all the badging off and then you put your Automotive stickers on. Well, that's channel advertising, right? There's a reason I put those on. But this time around, I think we're going to leave the TSS badging on. I rather like it. I think it looks good. The only caveat to that would be if I took them off and put different badging on. No, not TRD Off-Road or TRD Pro or anything tacky like that. something more channel or just truck related. I'm not sure. So I may do that in the future, but for now, the TSS badging is safe. It looks good on the truck. I like the coloring of it, and it's gonna stay. Next, something I talked about real recently, and I've done this, I think, on every Tundra that I've had, and that is replacing the grill with the Heritage or the TRD Pro grill. The one that says Toyota across the front. I really dig that. I really do like it, but there are some negatives, and if you want to know what they are, check out that video. I'm not going to do that on this truck, at least not anytime soon. I can't say never, because I really do like the look of it on the truck. But for now, we're going to leave the grill that's on the front. I think it looks okay. It looks fine. There's nothing great about it. It looks good. I don't think there's any reason to do anything with it. So it's safe. Number 5, the exhaust. You know, I've had different exhausts on many different trucks. And I've had the TRD exhaust, or the TRD Pro, I can't even remember what it's called now. But I've had the louder exhaust on Tundras in the past. And they sound really good. They give you that nice throaty sound. But the problem is, this is a V6 twin turbo. Those were V8s. You can do anything with a V8 engine, right? And you can get a lot of good sound out of it. I'm just not sure that putting any different exhaust on this truck with its V6 would give me that throatier grumble that I want. I think it's a waste of money, honestly. Now, I need to hear them. It'd be nice to hear one in person. You know, hopefully I'll come across a 2022, I think that's when this model first came out, the redesign, or newer with the V6, to see what it sounds like, assuming they've gone with a TRD exhaust and not some other aftermarket version. I'm not real hip on going with any other aftermarket version. I think they sound kind of tinny and they don't sound real great on the truck, so probably not. I shouldn't say probably, definitely not going to go with an aftermarket. If I did anything, and I don't think so, it would be the TRD exhaust. Lastly, listen to this. I'll show you in a second. First, I got to get past the fire station. I don't want them to think I'm honking at them. But have a listen. It's not horrible, but it's not, this truck is not deserving of a horn like that. This truck needs a louder, more aggressive horn. Now, I've put on a train horn, they called it a train horn, in the past on my Toyota Tacoma. It sounded good, but the problem with it is it was cheap junk. So I'm not gonna put a cheap junky train horn on this truck. If I do anything, it'll be something a little bit better, definitely better, more quality, something that's not gonna rust and fall apart after about 6 months on the truck. And I highly recommend, if you're looking at giving your Tundra a louder voice, make sure you don't go with something cheap. Spend a little money and get something quality. You'll regret it if you go the other way. I know I did. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, kind of give you guys a little bit of information. People have been asking, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? A lot of it probably because I've done it to other Tundras in the past. So those are the 5 or 6 things that I am not going to do or mess with or take off on this truck. Leave a comment, let me know if you've done any of these things, taken them off, did you regret it later, maybe put them back on. And as far as the horns go and the exhaust, do you have any experience with those, and what would you recommend? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.